Hiya Six. So today we're going to work on one onomatopoeic word. You could probably describe this as a bit of a final piece or a kind of halfway project final piece. Because we can't do painting sadly or do any kind of canvas work, we're going to do this in two stages. So we're going to complete our onomatopoeic words today, and then we're going to go on and look at coloured portraits for the next part of the pop art project. So for today you're going to need to pick an onomatopoeic word that you have maybe worked with already or one you'd like to work with, and we're going to try and make this the best displayed word possible with lots of accurate colouring in, lots of extra details around the word, and for it to have a good pop off the page. Let's get started. When you're working on this piece of work, do bear in mind the work you did last week on the pop art artist copy, and just try and be aware of how you copied that work. Remember the bright colours, remember the dark black outlines, remember the details, and just try and make sure that is reflected in this work today. And if you are using colour pencil, try to do layers so the colour pops off the page and it is brighter and darker, or use a slightly heavier pressure. So I've decided to go for squeak as my final onomatopoeic word. You can see I have tried to fill the whole page with the word. I've left a gap here because I'm adding some details at the bottom. I'm thinking maybe like a mouse tail here, possibly some ears up here, and maybe some cheese, even footprints might be quite nice. Just to let you know, this size here of the letters, it's 11 centimetres that I've done, is how big I've made my letters. Whatever you do, don't make your word be teeny tiny on the page, because you will lose the impact and the wow of what pop art is supposed to be, because it's supposed to pop out. If your word is quite long, you can do it obviously smaller, but just make sure that you're really using this whole page, and whatever you put around it makes it stand out too. So here is my squeak with a black outline. You can see I still haven't rubbed out pencil lines yet, and as I've worked I have made adjustments. I've changed this ear shape and I've made that tail longer, and that's quite normal to do as you're working through things. My next stage now is I'm going to add colour to the letters to make those stand out, and then I'm also going to add in a background too, which I'll show you when I get to that stage, to make it really pop off the page. I just wanted to show how I do my colouring in with my fine line on my outlines. You can probably see it in this one here where the layers have been built up. What I normally do is to get the cleanest edge possible. I know there's a few gaps here which I need to go over, but I do an outline of colour next to the black first, and then I will fill it in. This helps, going around the edge obviously it takes a bit of time, but this normally helps to make the colour nice and solid because you go over in layers. So just a bit of a tip there if anyone's struggling with the colouring in. So I've now finished my squeak letters and my details. I just remembered actually I need to still rub out my footprint pencil marks, we'll do that in a minute. I'm now going to add in a bit of a pop out around the word to make it really stand out. It's basically like kind of a zigzag around the word. You can do it by drawing in triangles or just by drawing a zigzag, but the idea is to create that so there is a contrast between the word and the white paper. I think I'm going to make my zigzag probably be orange, because I think that'll be quite effective against the brown and the pink and the yellow, and I'll show you how it turns out. Okay, so you can see I've added in my zigzag. I'm just going to go in a bit closer. If you see here, what I've done is I've just drawn the pencil lines in. I haven't actually drawn onto my word. I've just kind of drawn the line and then stopped and then continued it. So my zigzag goes up and down. This one's actually a bit out of alignment. I might just quickly fix that now. You can see here how that line's there. Actually, that line needs to be more like that. So we'll just fix that so it looks more accurate, more like a pop. There we go. So it continues round. I have let it come down here because I think that'd be quite nice to have a bit of white in between those areas. And it is different sizes as it goes round, which I don't mind at all. I'm now going to add some black to this outline, and I'm going to finish it off by colouring it orange, and I'll show you the final piece. Okay, so here is my finished piece on squeak with my orange pop out effect. I hope you can see the difference between the white background and the orange pop out background. To finish this off, I'm actually going to add a slightly darker black line to my squeak to make the squeak stand out, but leave fine line around everything else. So here is my final piece. I think it does look much better with a slightly black, more black thick outline. It just helps the letters to stand out just that bit more. I am going to submit with this piece of work some success criteria. So as you're working on this, I guess you call it a final piece or a halfway final piece, please make sure that you are being successful and you are doing the best you can with this piece of work, because it is a bit of a review, because we've been working on this project now for 4 or 5 weeks. We want to show what we have learnt and what we have developed. As always, please submit your work up to Teams and I will give you some feedback. Thank you.